Hey, I want to welcome you guys. You're here with Everything Waterfalls. This is a matrix of a waterfall. Now you're going to say, what the heck does this have to do with a waterfall? It's a polymer. These are plastics. I welded this just enough to show you how I used to be a welding specialist fabricator, making all kinds of fume hoods made out of PVC, polypropylene, CPVC. But anyways, that was just a sample of welding. By the way, all plastics are different. A sheet of the CPVC, 4x8 sheet, 1 inch, you're talking probably about $1,200 bucks. But with this a 9, with Waterfalls, the matrix, we're going to kind of take that definition and twist it a little bit. It's got many different definitions, just like the different polymers. What's a polymer? It's a synthetic material. A lot of your polymers are synthetic materials. They have their positives, but they have their disadvantages. Now going into the different polymers, a lot of them are made to be plastic. And just like paint, just like your carpet fibers, just like a lot of things, advantages, a heck of a nice peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Disadvantage, it's not going to do a whole lot of anything else. If you're a kid, we might even get something to pop. On that note, sunflower and seed butter, mocha and cappuccino, probably not good for you, but that's more polymers in a container, making my peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Going right into the realm of plastics, because a lot of you think when you get to a prefab, fake type of waterfall or pond, it's fake, it's plastic, it's not going to work, and that's what you're thinking. Jesus, is my waterfall a baggie? Now going into a water jug, we can take that, and I never cleaned this out, so boy, this really reeks from sitting around with a little milk in here. But in essence, this here makes a heck of a nice container for milk, but nothing more than that. But what happens if we get the thickness and make the thickness a little more, like maybe 1/4 of an inch, pre-molded? This is probably polypropylene. Some of you guys will say it's polyethylene, but who cares? But anyways, when we take this, we can put a bulkhead fitting here, put water through here, water comes out. That's where we get the real waterfalls, where we can pre-mold, prefab different types of things that are relatively inexpensive, made out of inexpensive plastics. This here could be like a waterfall wear. Other stuff that you're looking at a real waterfall could be the waterfall skimmer. You use black foam, you have an EPDM liner, you use cement, underlayment, and pump bolts. They're all made out of plastic. So a lot of you guys say, well, I want to have a real waterfall. Well, basically before you put stuff like this, you can run your foamy EPDM liners without even putting a rock. Now with the rock here, what's the bad thing about them? Not all rocks make good waterfalls and stuff. This here is something that cracked all apart did some of my limestone. I have a pond out there, waterfall, 4 ponds, all these liners, probably over 4,000 rocks. Some of your best waterfalls in the Ohio area, at least where I am, they're made out of this type of rock. It's really shale, but in a way, when you have water with it, it stays together. Once you have it dry out, it all breaks apart. But it makes excellent type of cascading falls. But it always changes because it's always chipping, it's always breaking, it's already eroding. I bet you didn't know the Niagara Falls actually started at the Whirlpool. It's a park 5 miles downstream. That's where it once used to be. That's how much it has eroded over time. Here's sandstone, another type of rock. It's beautiful. But again, it's sand. They probably mix it with Elmer's glue and it came with a rock, and then it sort of disintegrates. Here's another rock, and I'll tell you what. This is beautiful. You can see some crystals in here, but just by the size of it, yeah, it took a little bit of muscle to bring this up here, but it doesn't make a whole lot. It doesn't make a waterfall rock. I do use this for one of my water garden beds out there, like a dry bed situation. So as we get into these types of things, I'm just kind of bringing you the different aspects of what some of these are, and none of them are bad. The thing with the real rock, you're going to have a landscaper. They're not home or user friendly for the homeowner. A lot of things is once you put them in there, you got what you have. You can't change things out. It's very hard, and a lot of times when you get into the maintenance, they're a disaster. They're very hard to keep up, especially in where you have a lot of frost. Things heave and thaw and heave and move and stuff. The other option is these fiberglass ones, and the problem, it's not a problem, it depends on how long you want to keep stuff. But the thing is, with the fiberglass, they're mass produced, they're very easy to make, you throw them out there, and they're very easy to throw away because they fade, they crack. I had one where I paid quite a bit of money, wasn't too happy first year, the base cracked. I fixed it, then it cracked in another area. So even though these, I don't want to step on other people's toes, but these are the issues that you have. Now with these new ones here, these are taking different polymers, and the fiberglass is a polymer, just like the real ones. We're using polymers, we're using synthetic materials. These here are made out of a couple different polymers, and when you take a couple polymers with their strengths and their weaknesses and put some of them together, you come up with some really awesome products. This here is we're taking polyurea along with polyethylene foam, and it has its distinct different areas that I want to show you what they're good for. The polyethylene foam has nothing to do with holding the water. It's more or less to try to make a hard shell that's very sturdy to hold the polyurea. Now the polyurea, if any of you guys are into superfoods, you're into goji berries and all these other things, the polyurea is looked upon as a super plastic. It's very hard to puncture, and I put a video on the Waterfall Matrix page, and it shows these guys, they're spraying. It's a coating. It's a spray coating. They put on stuff. It's got an ultra strength, tensile strength. They put it in a press. They put it, and it's stronger than cement. It's stronger than a lot of things. It goes up to 300 degrees. It's great for freezing conditions, but the only problem is it's flimsy. But they use it for coatings for everything from your truck liners all the way to stuff on boats. I mean, it's got millions of uses. It's a super plastic, so that's why the polyethylene foam. So you got the polyurea, which is it's supposed to be puncture proof. It's resistance to many things, and we use the strength. The weakness is that it's flimsy, so the strength of the polyurethane foam, it has a couple of them. It's lightweight, but it's very tough. It makes the shell or the coating to go into this. Now all these here are taken from real rock formations, from the universal rocks. They come all the way from Australia all the way to the United States, but they're actual real cool. This one here is actually a fairy garden base, and it's made out of natural oxides for the top one. Now with everything with these things is actually the process in which they do it, and it is a proprietary information. You can't, everybody has their own process. A lot of them don't work. A lot of them are golden. This one here works beautiful. So again, we're using actually 3 different formulations. We got the real rock, just almost like we have in a real rock you know, waterfall where you guys say, I want real rocks, you already have the real rock formulation here. You got the polyurea, which incenses your EPDM liner, and it's supposed to be many times stronger than the rubber or your PVC liners. And then we have the foam, and the foam, actually when you buy a kit for real rocks and stuff, you're using foam anyway to hold your rocks in place and cement. And I even had somebody that, he kind of liked the Garden Gnome website that I have, and he says, I'd like you to sell my stuff on there, but we use the concrete. Our stuff is better. And I'm sitting in rush hour traffic amongst all the orange barrels, and what are we doing there? It's for repair of cement. And so I thought, well, you know what, unless I have a cage full of rhinoceroses or elephants, I think we don't need to have any type of cement. And basically, these here come in two different colors. It comes with the Arizona brown, which is like a sandstone, which is very beautiful. And you also have the American gray here, which is gray, and it kind of is like your limestone. So these are the two different colors. So again, let's bring in one of the waterfalls, because Everything Waterfalls, we're gearing toward showing you these real cool prefab, preformed type of waterfalls. And like I said, it's got all the similarities to a real one. The only thing, it's lightweight. Hey, we can move it, we can reposition it, we can change it out with other waterfalls. It's got all the good advantages over all these other products that, you know, heavy weight, the rock breaks, it falls apart, it cracks. These here are, let's use the term user-friendly, do-it-yourself, customer-friendly, very easy to maintenance. As far as the maintenance issues, you can easily get a strong power washer or even a hose with a sprayer. You can spray this down. You can also, for the ponds and stuff, they're easy to maintain. So those are issues that you have with the real ones that these here help. Plus, it's so simple. It's minutes for some of these to put in, whether it's a patio pond, maybe a few hours for some of the other ones, even days if you wanted to have something really put together with different ponds and waterfalls. So this here, hopefully this helped you guys with the matrix of waterfalls. So yeah, there's all kinds of materials. It's different from fiberglass. I had a fiberglass canoe when I was a young kid. We grew up on a lake and 3 ponds. We had a bunch of ducks that we used to raise, the pintail and the widge and all the different stuff. We had thousands, hundreds of thousands. But when my grandfather gave me his fiberglass canoe, I thought, oh, this is pretty cool. He just got his new aluminum canoe. And back then, I mean, we were just out of the days of having birch type canoes. This one didn't have seats or anything, so I packed it up with my fishing gear. Being 8 years old, I put all kinds of stuff in there, and I pushed off, and I looked, and there was water coming in, and you know what happens when water comes in? Well, you sink. So I sunk, and all my fishing stuff went to the bottom of the pond, so it took me all day. And so I became an expert with the fiberglass on how to patch stuff, because every week or so I had to repatch it. Stuff wears out, it gets brittle. So this is sort of taking the best of everything of making a heck of a good home waterfall.